Hey Instagram, it's Dr. Rick, and today's unboxing is on a medical cannabis product called PTS Tonic. This is lime flavored and this is tropical punch flavored. So I propose this as an option for my patients and clients who I have had a discussion about trying to cut back on alcohol. I think alcohol is a great tool to disinhibit us on Friday and Saturday night, because sometimes it takes a little bit of practice to get into the relaxed state, especially in front of people, strangers or relatives. I think that we've learned to present ourselves in a guarded fashion, especially if you are high ranking in the managerial positions or you run your own business. And in some cases, I can see people, owners, CEOs, they just cut loose and really relax, or they know how to go into that zone really quickly. Some of us need a little bit of coaxing and relaxing, and there's so many guards that alcohol removes that by that concept of disinhibition. The only problem is alcohol, especially if it's beer, comes with sugar and carbohydrates. If it's wine, sugar and carbohydrates. If it's vodka, gin, or tequila, you might be okay, but it depends on the mixers. And then you still have the side effects of alcohol being digested when the liver has to process a lot of alcohol. If you do 1 to 2 drinks as a male every day, or 1 drink as a female every day, or you compress all that into Friday and Saturday, it can be considered moderate. But if your liver is starting to back up, if the cholesterol is starting to increase, if you're insulin resistant now, I propose to you that it's not only the food that you eat and the timing of your food and the quality of your food, it's also alcohol. I'm pointing over here, but there's no alcohol here. I'm not saying you have to stop your alcohol, but you might want to try this. This is what a friend of mine and I came up with as far as cutting back on alcohol, just as an option since we both have medical cannabis cards. I love the taste of Pellegrino sparkling water, and it does give a fizz compared to or equal to wine or beer if you want to close your eyes and just feel the sensation. But if I was to compare my case, where I would easily pound down 3 to 6 beers in one sitting, especially if I was in front of a large crowd, then I could get all that down and start to relax on the disinhibition trail and then maybe mingle. So I'm still working on that with my counselor, but at the sacrifice the next day of being guilty or just being bloated or turned on as far as my IBS. One thing you can do to get to that disinhibition phase, if that's what you're looking for to relax, is to use this. Now, the problem with any edible cannabis product is that it can sometimes put you right on the edge. So you get to the level where the THC CBD combination is relaxing and helps with disinhibition, but if you go a little bit over that, you're high. And that's not good. So there's a difference between using medical cannabis as a recreational relaxer and using alcohol as your recreational relaxer. Alcohol gives you alcohol or beer goggles, where sometimes disinhibits, but you don't realize that you're losing control, thus the fights and the risky behavior, versus medical cannabis where you disinhibit. But usually you're in the driver's seat and you can say, whoa, I'm really stoned. And then there's other benefits to CBD in this compound. As I mentioned to you, if I'm used to at a party having 3 to 6 beers, that's 12 ounces each, about 355 ml. So this is 12 ounces I measured out. This is about a cup and a half of water, carbonated water. But I'm going to show you how much I would use of the medical cannabis. What I've come up with my metabolism is I've dialed in at least using a little less than a shot glass worth of the cannabis product. This one in particular. I have 2 others here that I haven't experimented with regards to mixing, and I might go with 3 glasses. I might not. It depends on how I'm feeling. And the thing with medical cannabis is that, especially with edible, don't be fooled. You're not supposed to have a little bit and then see how you do, and then have a little more. Before you know it, the first hit of edible will be kicking in half hour to 2 hours, and the second and third hit might kick in exactly at that time as well, and you're gonna be, again, stoned. There's one thing with this cap that I've found in the past, and it's just impossible to... Drug company to the rescue. Still not working. I had to twist the bottle. What the heck? PTS. You guys got to do something with this. Here's a shot glass. I'm going to put in a little less than the top. That's 2 tablespoons. Put that in your 12 ounces. That's where it comes out. So I should mix it, but I figured that the effervescence and the carbonation will. So this is approximately 12 ounces with 2 tablespoons full of the tonic PTS. And that mixture was just enough to taste the lime. And it is on the low side as far as the entire contents of this bottle, but I don't have to finish that. I did the mistake of finishing a whole bottle once, or at least a can, 12-ounce can once, and that was way too much. It hit aggressively. Then the liver tried to break it down and metabolize it, but it metabolized it into a couple of other active ingredients, and then they circulated around for a while. I wound up having a persistent high from nighttime until late morning, and I don't like that. I'd rather have it just get me to sleep or relax me for a movie or something. I will probably have 1 or 2 of these. So there's your medical cannabis stamp that I usually will try to peel off and put into my cannabis diary, but I don't really need that anymore. 97.2 milligrams of THC and the same equivalent in CBD, so it's considered 1-to-1. This is kind of cool. It also gives you a hash mark as far as how many milligrams. Now you have to convert milligrams to teaspoons to ounces to mLs, but don't worry about that. You'll get used to it. One of these little less than shot glasses, I am taking about 9 grams of carbs, and I think this said 9 grams of sugar. Potentially have twice that in one night. But compared to my craft beer that I used to like, hey, that's a fraction of what I used to be able to tolerate with the craft beer that I would have. Try this and maybe another one, but you divide it up, so you take your notes down in your cannabis diary and you see how you felt. If it gave you that relaxed feeling, yet it didn't linger on in the morning, then that's a positive. If it doesn't give you that relaxed feeling, then after another night, I might increase the dose. If you keep on adding more in the same night, you're going to fall off the edge. Remember, you're walking on a razor's edge with this because the absorption in the digestive tract is very unpredictable compared to using just medical cannabis inhaled wise. When you use it in an inhalation form, you get a desired dose, it goes straight to your bloodstream and then straight to your brain. CB1 receptors are stimulated. When you use edible, it's a little bit different because it has to go through the stomach and then it goes to the liver, gets broken up, depending on how fast it takes to absorb, and then it gets to the brain, CB1 and CB2 receptors. And so there's a lot of variables that are involved with getting it through the digestive system. It is an option. So if you wanted to say cut back your total alcohol consumption per Friday or Saturday night to half, you might want to introduce this first. Now, because you're going to be messing around with your experiment, you don't want to be driving, obviously, and you want to have somebody else be your wingman, especially if you're single and you're going to a bar. Now, if you're going to be just relaxing at home because it's still COVID time, then even better. The one caveat with medical cannabis products is the inhalation form sometimes will push people into paranoia if you do too much too fast. I don't think you'll have the same when you do any kind of edible form, whether you use tincture, drink, candy, gummy, chocolate. So it's a little bit different. It's slow. Before you mess around with dialing up or dialing down your own recipe as far as medical cannabis, you should get your blood tested, especially if you're on medicines. If you're using this to relax, then that's one thing. If you're not going to use it on a regular basis, if you're going to be using it for inflammation control, MS control, Crohn's disease reset, cancer fighting, you really want to have your doctor check your blood test because liver function can be altered. Sometimes if you're on medicine, you have to make sure that the doctor knows about the interactions between medicines, vitamins, and medical cannabis, or just medical cannabis and alcohol. Probably not going to get that information from your doctor who gave you the medicines, or your herbalist who gave you the vitamins, or even the dispensary who gave you the medical cannabis. That's exactly why I created Mixture. Me and 3 other cannabis coaches help people in deciding what's good for them, what they should do first, how they should go about weaning up or weaning down. I think that we just want to make people a little bit more aware because it's just lacking out there. It's lacking at the dispensaries because they don't have time. It's lacking at the doctor's office because most doctors don't even certify for medical cannabis. And if they do certify, they have no idea what they're doing. They just say, go to the dispensary. And when I see patients, I always give them homework and I tell them exactly what they should be buying, how to ramp up, what kind of side effects to look for. Be careful with their prescription medicines and their vitamins. I think this is a great medicine to be taken advantage of, but the problem is it's hard to get the knowledge base out there. The two books I like are Cannabis Index and Cannabis Pharmacy. I think they're both helpful for giving you some data. One's a little drier than the other, but they're still good reference books to have around, especially if you're learning to become a chef. This is the same thing from PTS, just with a little tropical flavor. If those of you who like tropical fruit drinks, you might want to try that. You want to make sure that whatever you're mixing your drinks with will be low on carbohydrates and sugar. So hopefully this gives you a couple of ideas. So if you have your favorite additive that you put into your drinks, please put them in the comments down below. I'm just experimenting with this stuff. I'd love to experiment with other things. Stay safe, use this stuff properly, and I'll see you at the next video. Thanks for watching. Now time to watch WandaVision.